Basically, when clover is infected with a mold, and it's only when the clover has a mold, it's not the clover just by itself. When the horses eat that clover in their pasture with the mold, they just become more sensitive to sunlight. And so if you have a horse with any kind of white skin or light colored skin, the dark skin actually absorbs the UV light, so you won't see it on like a black or a brown horse. But on their white skin, it's essentially like you and I getting a sunburn and having our skin peel. The same thing happens on the horse, which is very concerning, because horse owners see their horse's skin is sloughing off, it's red, it's irritated, it looks painful.
Is it?
Yeah, it definitely is painful, and I think horse owners, if they see some of those reactions, they should call their veterinarian. There is some topical creams they can do, but the most important thing is they need to remove the horse from that mold-infected clover pasture, and usually within a couple days, maybe 3 days, once the mold and toxin gets out of their system, a lot of the symptoms will start to heal. But just like you or I having a bad sunburn, it can take a while for your skin to return to kind of a normal condition. The disease that causes photosensitivity is called black blotch. And just like it sounds, if you look on the underneath side of the clover, it looks like somebody took a felt tip pen and put little black blotches. So if you go out into your field and you turn the clover over and it's green, you're good. If you turn it over and there's a whole bunch of black dots, you probably have black blotch, so the chances of your horse having photosensitivity is higher. It's funny because I think clover kind of gets a bad rap. So it is clover, and it's actually legumes in general with this particular photosensitivity. So that's alfalfa, red clover, white clover, alsite clover, but it's only when it has the mold. In the absence of the mold, the clover is perfectly fine and you won't see the photosensitivity issues. But I think the environment that we've had in the pasture currently, high humidity, lots of rain, clover tends to grow very, very dense together. There's not a lot of airflow in that plant canopy, so the mold really thrives in that condition of high humidity. So if people want to get rid of the mold, they have to encourage or increase airflow in their pasture. A lot of times, anything that hasn't been grazed, you could mow it. That opens up the canopy. If you have a really, really thick stand of clover, you might want to use a herbicide to remove some of the clover. Clover is pretty hardy. It's harder to control. So maybe a light rate of a labeled herbicide would help you kind of thin out the stand and increase airflow. If you have a little bit of clover in your pasture, maybe less than 10 or 15%, and they're eating a lot of grass, they're eating hay, it probably isn't a big issue. But if you go out into your pasture and it's 50% clover or more, and that is a horse's main diet, those horses are definitely at a greater risk just because their exposure is greater.